without going. And but as it is, this is going to be next week's episode. So we are live now. We're going live without me having my light because Sarah took my car key when she
You
went to
look
grab the dogs.
fine. You look well lit. You look beautiful.
Yeah. Well, I like to have that nice sexual lighting that I go for. Logan, I use the word sexual quite a bit with non-sexual things, especially camera equipment.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so like I'll be like, oh, that is a sexy camera, or they just said sexual lighting. Look, we were watching Man on the Inside season 2. I don't know if you're familiar with that show on
I'm
Netflix.
not on the inside.
No, it's Ted Danson plays like a retiree who goes into like PI work. Um, and Jason Mantzoukas is in season 2, and he goes, I live here sexually. And Jason Mantzoukas plays this same exact character no matter what he's on. And we're watching Percy Jackson. Logan's like, that's Dionysus. I'm like, yeah, he just
Yep.
like tones the language down, but it's exactly the same
Right.
character
That's
across the board.
him without cursing.
All
Season 2
right.
hasn't started yet, has it?
Yeah, it did.
Oh, it
Yeah.
did.
Yeah.
Cool. We have to watch that.
Yeah.
May have
Season
to watch
2's.
season 1. I mean, I remember read the book, saw the
Yeah.
original movie. So if we read
I will say,
Joseph read all the Greek books and the Norse books and Egyptian. Like
yeah.
he loved that author when he was young.
Yeah, there's been more. He's not stopped.
Yeah.
So Logan's on like book number 14. He hasn't gotten to Norse yet because there's so many Greeks now. But yeah, so sexually. I will say, as far as season 2, I think season 2 is better than season 1, and season 2 is doing a lot of things better than book 2, which I reread last month.
Mm-hmm.
So
I just love. I just remember. I don't remember much. I just have loving Tyson and like being frustrated how long it is before he appreciates Tyson. Like at the end of the book, he finally appreciates him.
I love Tyson. Tyson's better in the show than he is in the book.
Cool.
He's so much better. Like I was like, maybe I'm the one who's having this hot take, and I wrote that down on Threads, and people were like, no, Tyson is so much better. They don't play him as like, they play him as naive, not like infantile or handicapped. Like like they play him in a way where
I always read him as just so pure and innocent that everything was like the whole world was new to him because he was so innocent.
right, and they play that better in this than they do in the book, I think. But
yeah, I guess once you get an actor and a director's influence into, you get more realism in the performance.
Yeah, and they were able to I think they were able to say, hey, we want to stick with the concept and not the specific scene by scene, because there's a lot that's changed. And I think that it's making it better. Like they're like, okay, well, we'll adjust this. We'll adjust course here a bit.
I probably don't remember it well enough I will know it's different.
I literally only know because I reread it a month ago, because Logan was like, you don't remember any of the Percy Jackson books very well. So I was like, I'll tell you what, every other book, I'll read a Percy Jackson book, and we'll keep going that way. But let's get started, because I do need to be done kind of early tonight, because we have to go drop the dogs off in High Point. So
I have to go pick the girls up from the peak.
Nice.
Of the vine.
Nice. So we're going to talk about Venezuela tonight.
Don't cry for me, Venezuela.
Yep.
See, if you're from New York, that would be funny.
I know I know Avita.
Yeah.
The
thing is, when you live in New York, commercials for plays are as ubiquitous as commercials for movies. So there's no one in Generation X from New York City who doesn't hear that commercial in their fucking sleep because for a decade there was a commercial for Avita always playing, and that was the hook was part of it, obviously.
But it's Argentina.
So, yeah, I know. But that wouldn't have been. That wouldn't have fit the political theme.
Yeah.
So we used to not remember it as kids. We used to do the revolutionary going, a piece of chocolate. That's all I asked for, because we couldn't remember exactly what he said in the commercial.
Mm. So let's talk about Venezuela. I'm interested in not only talking about the specifics of the Venezuela situation, but also the reaction that a lot of conservatives seem to be putting on left wing about it.
So we should level set, since this won't come out until the 20th, 18th, whatever
Yeah,
the hell
something
it
like
is.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, you know, and we will know so much more about what's going on.
Yeah.
So to level
We're
set,
shooting January 5th.
yeah, it was this January 5th. We are right after it happened, you know, like, you know, in the overnight, 2 nights ago, whatever.
Yeah.
Um, and all we know at this point was that we went in, killed a couple dozen people, kidnapped a president and his
Mhm.
wife, brought them back to New York for indictments that they were indicted. Well, the initial indictment was against the president only, right at the end of Trump administration 1.0, and they did a re-indictment at some point and added his wife to it.
Yeah.
And they pled not guilty today in court.
Okay.
But that was just like a pleading, so we don't know what the court thing is going to be. I mean, presumably they're going to argue you can't try us, you kidnapped us.
Yeah, I
That would
am
probably be their
curious.
attempt, but they'll probably lose on that because, like Nicaragua, Noriega made the same thing. Said, "Oh, the way I was arrested wasn't legal," and the Supreme Court said, "Fuck yeah, it was." And so the courts kind of said deferred to what the federal government said and said,
Mhm.
"Yep, you got him, you got him." So I don't think that's going to hold water if they try that, but that's probably what they'll try.
Yeah, I did see, and I'm not entirely sure this was about Venezuela, but it applies. There was a clip of Ben Shapiro talking about basically not giving a shit about international law because he doesn't think international law is a real thing because there's no real way of enforcing it. Which is more like, yeah, unfortunately, there is some truth to that than there should be truth to that. But so like that,
Yeah, but what it also means though is it's U.S. law too, because
yeah, yeah.
the
Well,
law
that's what
saying
that
you
was the
don't,
second part.
the
Yeah,
law
of
saying you don't do that was the part of the UN Charter, which we ratified as a treaty, 3/4 of Congress and the
yeah,
president. So it's like it's what we're saying is we don't have to follow U.S. law that we have ratified that is the law of the land
yeah,
because we don't want to. Yeah, but I think that's the key. So that there's multiple things for us to talk about. This is that there's the
yeah,
actual boots on the ground Venezuela situation, but then there's the what might this mean for the rest of the world for the rest of time? And that's a whole different conversation than just what's going on in Venezuela. Because,
yeah,
like, there's the whole oil thing, but then there's the hey, we may change the way that international politics is done completely to do what Russia and China have been trying to do forever. And we've been the ones saying no. And now the world may be a completely different place because of Trump.
yes, yeah. And also, I'm sorry, another because we're literally like you said 3 days after it happened or whatever it is. uh they, as of 40 minutes ago or so, announced
Oh,
the
shit.
interim president. So
Yep.
I don't know much about her, so I'm going to look it up while we're talking. But
Is it
um
the Nobel Peace
delcy
Prize?
delcy Rodriguez. um all right, she is a Venezuelan lawyer,
It was the
diplomat.
VP. It was his VP.
Oh, okay, it was Maduro's
He has
VP.
Maduro's VP
Okay.
and
Oh, so
oil
at least
minister.
there is some, like, I didn't know if this was, I just saw the headline. I didn't know if it was like Trump. I can't hear you. You went silent.
I disappeared for a second.
Yeah.
That was weird.
Um so anyway, so I don't know if
Yeah.
when I
Like
saw
I
that
said,
headline,
there could have been a power vacuum in a civil war today instead of just the VP taking
yeah.
positions. It could have been
Well,
worse.
well, I also was wondering if that was a Trump appointed president, because he, as of his statement, that's not my statement, but he said we're taking control of Venezuela, and so I didn't know if he like appointed somebody. But if it's actually the vice president, at least there is
Yeah.
some
So
reason to believe
yeah,
that's a
and the
good
things
way
we
of
don't
going.
we won't know. Maybe we'll know when this airs, like what is really happening because
Mhm.
Trump said that, and Republican mouthpieces suddenly no 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 they walked it back. Like, he's just trumping. He's just,
Yeah.
but you never know if trumping is making up shit as he goes along or saying the quiet part out loud he wasn't supposed to.
Yeah.
Because what's to stop him from saying to the new president Delcy Rodriguez, "Hey, you saw what I did to Maduro, right?
Yeah.
You're next if you don't do what we say." Like he very can hold a sort of Damocles over her head and say, "You
Yeah.
have to do what I say, otherwise we're gonna, take you out of the country and arrest you on charges too." So yeah, So do you want to talk about international potential impact? Hey, Happy New Year, second Michael Cole.
Change your name.
Wow, like you keep telling me to do this, but then we don't have separate logins for Riverside. So I mean,
We do have separate logins. You just log in when on mine when you're
oh, I'm the mole. Yeah.
When you're doing pulling clips.
Oh, good point.
So use your other login, I think is what the point would be.
Well, thank you for changing it.
No problem.
Yeah, so do you want to talk about the international nightmare that he unleashed, or you want to keep talking about what might happen in the country of Venezuela, which we kind of don't know until it happens or doesn't?
Well, I'd like to talk about, for a second at least, this idea.
Or can we talk about my fantasy about Cuba now?
No, we can, but I didn't know what that was. Let me just dive in real quick there's the thing that kind of made me, when you said, "Oh, should we talk about Venezuela?" made me go, "Yes." Is that like there was this reaction by conservatives to say the liberals are upset with Trump, even though Trump did something great, and it's like, okay, Maduro was a bad person. I think as far as I can tell, that's a pretty universally understood thing in America. I don't think it's a controversial statement. Maduro was not a good person.
No, I think that's a fair statement.
Right. But that
is a terrible person.
Right. And I saw one person, I don't love this metaphor completely, but I did see someone say that is, you remember Brock Turner, the guy who
the swimmer?
Yes.
Yeah, so swimmer / rapist. Maybe he should be remembered better as a rapist.
Yes.
A rapist.
Yeah. So they were saying that Brock Turner behind the dumpster, doing what he did, and someone pulls up to stop him, and it's Harvey Weinstein, and they're like, "Get in, lady. I'm taking care of you now." She's not in less danger. And I think that there's some of that metaphor that logically works for me, but I think that part of what we need to look at too is, we're not this is more to me like if someone's getting bullied and somebody else comes up and goes, "Let me take out your bully," and now you're giving me your lunch money. It's more of that. Okay. I don't think from anything that I've seen that this was motivated because Maduro was a bad person. This is because of oil.
Yes.
And at best case scenario, it's because drugs were coming into this country from Venezuela. Best case scenario, right?
Except but on the subject of drugs, I have to say they talk about fentanyl.
Yeah,
cocaine comes from Venezuela.
Yeah, cocaine does.
That's their drug, and a lot, 15% of the world's cocaine, I think, is what I've heard, but almost all of it is sold in Europe, not in America. They're not America is not their primary source, customer. Europe is. So it's what a comedy to say we're going after them because of the drugs when they don't currently sell to us like that.
Yeah. But the argument, there's no argument here that they took him out because he's a bad guy. The argument is
Trump said we did it for the oil. I mean, he said we're going to get the oil.
He let the mask pretty much off at that point. And
he said, we said we have a legal reason we can do
right.
Yeah. Which is not even true. Legal reason does not mean we can go into their country and kill people, blow shit up, and kidnap him. That's not something we have the right to do.
No. And a lot of Fox News.
But if I do my Cuba fantasy real fast,
and I have one more thought.
8-hour flight to Mar-a-Lago. They could just as legally, in Trump's world, land a couple of helicopters full of troops in the middle of Mar-a-Lago, kill everybody they can find, take Trump home, try him for whatever crimes they want, and execute him in 30 minutes. 30 minutes worth to getting there, but 8-hour flight. They can try him on the helicopter.
Our live stream just went dead. Just joking. I can't. I'm just joking about that. But so my last.
No, they can. I'm not saying we should do it, but that would be totally okay by Trump's thing. It wouldn't even be illegal. Trump's thing is it's totally legal to go and kidnap a president of another country if you want to try him in your country.
Yeah.
So hey, Cuba, if you're listening.
So my one last thought about my, talking about they went in for they didn't even claim to go in for the good reasons is, unfortunately, we have, and I don't, you and I and Alex, with the three of us aren't the problem here when I say this, but Alex, we as a society, as a governmental body, don't view the people of Venezuela as people. we see them as a problem. We see them as was it Venezuela that was the caravan, or was it a different country for that was the caravan 5-6 years ago, whenever it was.
Oh, I don't know. I don't remember what the
But-
starting point was.
But we don't see
I don't
at no
either.
point in this process are they people. They are the people on the boats who are, as far as we know, fishermen. We don't, they keep claiming drug traffickers, but we haven't seen any evidence supporting that. And like they're
True.
people, and we don't give a shit. And again, our government does not give a shit about them, does not think of them as people. So we didn't even tell the lie of like we're going in to liberate the people. We told the lie
We're going in to claim their oil, which we think is ours, and our reason we think we're allowed to do it is because he's a wanted criminal, so we're doing it as a police action with the military going along. Like saying a couple of facts and then making up how they make an illegal action legal.
Yep.
And
so I think that when we talk about it, we do need to talk, not us, but going forward, we need to keep reminding people these are human beings, and if the people who are defending them are not seeing them as human beings, they're not really doing anything right in this. Like literally, I haven't heard anything
so
that's
I think
good in this
MAGA situation. Can say what they want about, but make up their stories. They always are. They're all saying this, and it's like find a single example of someone saying this. No, you can't because you made it up, like every other thing they make up. And then the MAGA morons will just believe it and say, "No, it's true. I know it's true because JD Vance said it, and he wouldn't lie." So there you go.
The teal mouthpiece lie? No.
Yeah.
I did see a really funny JD Vance thing this weekend, which was it was a picture of him next to a picture of Erica Kirk, and it was like, Grok, can you evaluate the similarities and see if these two people
do they look like siblings? Are they siblings?
And Grok said, like, this is the same person.
This is JD Vance in drag in college, and there is a picture of him in drag in college, but he does not look as good as Erica Kirk.
Well, he's blurry too.
Well, that's just the way he is.
He's blurry in real life, yeah.
He's blurry.
Yeah. So okay, MAGA, we agree that it is not a bad idea for drug dealing criminals to be arrested. So Maduro being arrested is not a bad thing. Maduro going to jail would not be a bad thing. But invading another country to do it is a bad thing. That doesn't. The ends don't justify the means.
Right. And if you're going to do it, if we're going to be Team America World Police, we should be putting him to the UN courts or whatever, wherever
not
they
our court. Yeah.
Well, I mean, they're trying to. He was indicted for crimes in the U.S. So for those, he could be tried, but it's supposed to be, have him picked up by Interpol and extradited to the U.S. Not we go in and take him in a military action. Because otherwise, there's a justification now is if you don't use special pleading and say America is special, we can do whatever we want, then any country, Cuba, can swoop in and grab any American and take them to their country and try them. Like, you can't complain and say, oh, why did your troops come across the border and kidnap people? Because that's what you do. And it's okay when you do it.
Exactly.
So it's okay. So if we get to the international implication, because you said America being the world police, that is almost the move they're actually going for. Potentially.
Oh, yeah.
Which is what
arguably more so than when we were in Iraq.
But in a different way, completely different, because it's local. So here's what the current UN Charter says, right? Hey, big countries cannot invade small countries just because they want to. Every country has sovereignty, and you have to respect it, right?
Correct.
That's why what Putin is doing in Ukraine is wrong, because you're not allowed to just invade another country. That's what makes it wrong. That's why he's clearly in the wrong. But what Putin has been arguing for is we should throw that away, even though that was ratified by the countries in the UN, including the US. So it's US law because it was ratified by Congress and signed by the president, like FDR. But what he says it should be is, instead of every country has sovereignty, it should be back like the old Soviet way. The biggest country in the area runs that area like a warlord and can invade whatever country they want. And they're the power, and everyone has to do what they say and be on best behavior.
That's when it really becomes the problem.
And that's
It's
what China wants, because China wants to invade Taiwan, and that's what holds them back. And that's what Trump. It's basically schoolyard bully. The biggest bully gets to rule everybody around them.
The biggest or wealthiest bully gets to have their way because the guidelines aren't in place to stop the lesser defensive nations from Ukraine standing up for themselves.
Yeah. So that's why Trump wants to attack Greenland and Canada and Mexico and Venezuela. I mean, he's been talking about all four of them since the last administration. And then we become the Western Hemisphere big bully. If we get rid of everyone has sovereignty and we say we own the Western Hemisphere, it's the US's thing. So instead of being the biggest superpower in the world, we are just the Western Hemisphere. Like, we're reducing our thing, but we get to steal money, steal resources, steal whatever we want, and then let China start taking over all of Asia. Like, they'll have Taiwan is fast and easy, but then they go to Singapore, then they go to Vietnam and all the other countries in that area, whichever ones they want, and just be like, they don't have to go in militarily. They just say, you now bow the knee to us, or we will. Because that's the way, and then, and Putin couldn't do it. He tried to do it by force because he thought, I'm going to walk in, take Ukraine, boom, boom. Next day, I'll look at, do I do Georgia next, or which country do I do next? I can do whatever I want. And Ukraine said, no, this is not happening. And 2 years, later, still fighting. 3 years, whatever, how many years it's been now. But now America is the one leading the charge. Say, yeah, let's get rid of the UN charter that says every country has sovereignty and go by bully. Or Trump is just a freak and he's been saying the things that perfectly line up that plan, but he's too dumb to mean it. But I think it's not about that he's dumb. It's whether the people behind him who are telling him what to do. And as long as it checks the boxes of, I get to sleep with a minor, I get more money, I get more ratings.
Is that why he's in West Virginia, or so on? Like, he's got such a good, strong thing in West Virginia, is because all the miners.
It could be, yeah. He's very big on coal. He does not like offshore windmills.
Got this new clean coal.
Clean coal. I
just
like
took
when
a
the
shower,
kids were
so
calling in.
I understand the idea of a clean coal, but
I like when the kids were calling in. He was talking about getting coal in a stocking, and he made it about clean coal. Yep. So I had family members who were part of the Middle East war during Operation Desert Storm. In fact, it's the reason that my family moved back to the Northeast after we were in North Carolina for probably 8 years. And so many of the rhetoric, because I grew up in a conservative household, so much of the rhetoric is almost cookie cutter. The stuff that people who weren't even alive for Desert Storm or old enough to care about it are stating the exact same things, calling the boats WMDs, calling them big evil dictators. And I was talking to my wife and I said, the most upsetting thing about this for me is, even if it is a dictator running a country poorly for its people, this is the last administration I want going to hell. In fact, I'd rather not help at all because we have enough here. But if you're going to help, could it not be the mean ones that hate the brown people? That's what makes it the most just slick and gross and grifty, is you genuinely don't care like the people there anyway. And this is a great time for you to put your neck out, put your hand up the ass of the country, run it like a puppet government. And then as soon as you're out of office, because you will be, it's someone else's fault and problem. And that's only going to hurt the people who are left there, the genuine innocence in this. And that's not chill in my head. It just isn't. So much of this cookie cutter, like Jesse Waters saying the same stuff that Lindsey Graham was saying. Lindsey Graham saying the almost identical lines about both. It's difficult. It's difficult to watch as a guy that remembers it.
There's so much that's overlapped between. So first of all, you said Desert Storm. I assume you mean Iraqi freedom.
Sorry,
because Desert Storm is late 80s, early 90s. But yes, there's so much overlap here.
And Desert Storm respected the sovereignty thing. Like, they pushed them back out of Kuwait, and said we're not allowed to go further. And so Rumsfeld was like, we have to go further, and Cheney, we have to go further. And Bush was like, no, we're not going to do it.
No, we don't.
That's not the legal thing. And then with Bush Jr., they were screw the legal thing. We're going across the borders.
Yeah. But I do think so. There's so many parallels. But here's the one that's weird. There are. I looked up Maduro earlier, and there's so many pictures. I'm like, he looks like Saddam Hussein. Like
they even both have the same love for ceremonial swords.
Oh, do they?
Yeah.
I'm sending you guys. I'm putting.
Oh, he does. Look at that.
I know, really. Like he really has like the same love for those.
Yeah.
He looks like a Latino Saddam Hussein.
Mm-hmm,
yeah, but I mean,
like he played him in the Mexican movie version of Desert Storm.
The picture, I mean, not every picture. In some pictures, he looks more specifically Latino. In others, he just looks vaguely not white, right? Like the way Saddam Hussein looked vaguely not white. So, like, the picture I just sent you guys, he looks like he could be Saddam Hussein, other than he's not wearing the outfit Saddam Hussein was famous for wearing all the time. But yeah, no, like it's kind of crazy, and it's like,
so as this is something. Oftentimes, when I know there's a topic we're talking about, I want to ask Matthew specific questions, because not only are you the most plugged in of the three of us, you also are the oldest, so you have the most frame of context. The consistent conservative talking point for conservatives has been, look at how big ass, big dick powerful we are. We took out this opposition and captured this dude in a country that's propped up by China and Russia.
Yeah.
What is your scope on that specific framing of how it went down? And then do you believe there's any genuine truth to the Venezuelan government was being helped, propped up, or funded by either of these countries that we don't exactly get along with?
I have no idea if they're being funded by those countries, but I think even if they
didn't either,
I don't think those are the enemies of Trump like he pretends they are. Because if
he loves him some Putin.
If he has his way, that's the split of the world. U.S. is the Western Hemisphere, Russia takes Europe, and China takes Asia. I mean, that's the split of the world. If that's the direction they're actually going, if he starts, like they had the banana wars back in the 70s, right? And that wars was plural. Mm-hmm. So if Venezuela is just number one, and he does this again, then we're going down that path. And so, he'll be helping them. I mean, China's like, okay, if America can do it, I can take Taiwan. Like that's Taiwan's freaking out that it's the precedent.
Xi Jinping's going to be like, I'm ready. Yeah.
But what it reminds me the most of, though, in the testosterone fueled we got big dicks, we took over a country, is actually the scene in Independence Day where they shoot the nuke at the ship.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And the Secretary of Defense is like, yeah, and he's just up and down cheering like we just nuked Americans, and he's thrilled that we did it.
Yeah. He's so excited. I know.
Yeah, that's what the MAGA politicians seem like.
It is. So then I'm curious on if that talking point kind of grew in the social media sphere and wasn't ever propagated by conservative media or the current administration, or if the current administration like dog whistled at it. So it's an easy way to frame this on, look at Big Daddy, because conservatism loves a father figure.
What's the social media of which you speak?
I don't know. I mean, I thought we were broadcasting over shortwave. So because I've seen it brought up. If I go to X, I can see it in a lot of talking points, but I couldn't find it in media. I couldn't find it directly talked about by the administration. So I'm curious if this was a half pushed narrative in the social media news side of it, or if this is something that actually has some weight and gravity. And maybe, I doubt it, Donnie is trying to make a big move and kind of, I'm not associated with that bad Vladimir. He's such a bad guy. And then Jinping is such a bad guy. Look at how bad they were. We're so powerful. Look, we took out Venezuela.
I think the the conservative take on these kinds of things often is, in general, is but we're the good guys, so when we do it, it's okay. I mean, I think there's a huge amount of that we're doing the same thing they are, but when we're the good guys, though, so it's okay that we, like, no one can come in here and kidnap us. That would be a horrible terrorist thing to do. But us doing it to them, well, he's a criminal. He's a bad guy. It's okay. So I think there's that. Most of what I've seen, like watching the Sunday news shows, was like the last bastion of trying to get good news, or legitimate news, but it's not great. I think they try too hard to be legitimate, and they ignore the fact that this is an earth-shattering, we shouldn't do this, so they try to treat it normal. It's been totally, how do we normalize this? Like, we just invaded a country, we're allowed to do that? Well, there was law enforcement along for the ride. So really it was law enforcement with some military help. That it wasn't really an invasion. Oh, so we bombed the hell out of a city, but that was just to do the law enforcement. And
that was just for the law enforcement part.
Yeah. I mean, it's not, so I haven't seen them been like, because we got big dicks and we can do it. I've seen them trying to normalize it and say it was just a minor thing. All we did was go in, surgical strike. It was very disciplined. It was very well executed. Like the opposite, if anything. They're trying to downplay it.
Exactly.
It's not a big military thing.
No,
they're trying to make this more into the way we caught Bin Laden than the way we got Saddam Hussein.
It feels like it.
I don't remember there being any backlash against us getting Bin Laden because it was surgical and obviously he was wanted.
But we had Congress support to do the Middle East war.
But there was
we didn't just do it in the middle of the
yeah.
night. They had,
right. No.
They had authority.
I've been talking about it on a random Sunday.
I'm not saying it's the same as. It was actually a Sunday though. I only remember because it was my mom's 50th birthday party that night, and then we got home from it, and they were like, "The president's going to come on," and we were like, "What?" And they were like, "Yeah, the president. They're expecting him to say that we got Bin Laden," and that was so. It was a Sunday,
it was also
or Saturday.
But he also wasn't killed like in his home country. He was in Pakistan, right? So I think we have been working with Pakistan on raids. So I don't remember if they had permission from Pakistan for that particular raid, but I think they may be working in conjunction with Pakistan. So it wasn't an extrajudicial in a foreign country. It was done the way you're supposed to do it with the help of the country. Yeah.
So quick question
go
for both of you, because it's probably too early to know for sure. But do we think that other countries are going to support this decision publicly? Meaning, like when we went into Iraq, we had, was it England came in with us, Canada.
But we went before that, we went to the UN. We had fake stuff. I mean, there was people, fake witnesses who were lying about what Saddam was doing. He was evil and did shitty things, but they made up other stuff. Fake weapons of mass destruction folder full of fake data that was from some college students' report that Colin Powell went and presented. So we got permission or support or buy-in, but it based on bullshit, based on lies. But we got support. We didn't sneak and do it while Congress was on vacation because they didn't want to release the Epstein files and didn't want to, do anything.
That mostly answers my follow-up, which was going to be if we get support publicly if the U.S. gets support publicly for this action, will it help launder the process? Launder it?
If there's some support, it'll help a retcon. Yes.
Yeah.
If there's some support, it'll help a retcon take place. However, as Matthew was stating, we had on the face of it a go-ahead from our governing system to make this an okay thing to do. Whereas in this case, Big Donnie doesn't care to have that permission and has shown that now more than once, more than a handful of times.
Yeah.
So I don't think that any country is going to want to come out and support it. And that also helps push the narrative that America has done nothing wrong and they are the victim of all of this bad press and bad talk, so they can play they're making fun of me teacher.
We're right, they support us. If they don't support us, look, everyone's against us.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it's going to fuel the retcon either way, but one will be the history of, oh, look, this one other weird Luxembourg thought it was a good idea that we went and did this. Yeah. And then on the other side, it's going to be poor conservative lawmakers, poor conservative leaders. No one likes what we're doing. All we're doing is trying to protect the kids.
Yeah.
All we're doing is trying to stop all these drugs. Like, yeah.
So international response, 45 minutes ago, the headline on PBS News is U.S. allies and adversaries alike use UN meeting to critique Venezuela intervention. And it goes right into Denmark talking about they're coming for Greenland next. We can't do that. The inviolability of borders is not up for negotiation.
No.
Yeah. So no state should
seek and the AP is the same thing
through threat of
force Reuters and
violence.
AP are most the same.
Yeah. So right now the countries are all seeing the writing on the wall that this is just the first country. If you can do it here, you can do it anywhere. It's up to you, Don Trump. And I don't think he's going to get international support.
Good.
At least, like I said, from maybe China and Putin, who might say, "Yay, we can do this now. That's the new rules."
I did hear that Neville Chamberlain says, "Just let him have
it." I caught that. I see you. So my other frustration here, and this is something that I speak to nurse wife, not my wife, the woman, because I need her medical stuff sometimes, or her medical knowledge, is I ask, how long do you think our president has currently with us as a cognitive, functional person without serious dementia or physical symptoms? And she has said a few months sometimes, and then depending, she said 6 months.
Consensus seems to be 3 to 6 months, but until it happens.
I will say this. Yeah, I was going to say.
I take 4 times as much Tylenol as Obama. I'm fit as a horse. I aced my cognitive exam that I've had to take 3 times. I heard it was Advil,
which could really fuck you up.
No, I think it's aspirin for blood thinning. He's taking aspirin.
It's aspirin for blood thinning. I like my blood to be about as thin as mercury. So here's the thing.
Historically, they would tell people to take 81 milligrams, which is like St. Joseph's chewable aspirin. For blood thinning. And now they don't even recommend that anymore because it does more damage than good. So only in very rare cases, like or repeat heart attacks, maybe they even recommend it anymore. It used to be like everyone should take it at a certain age, and now it's like no, you shouldn't.
Yeah.
And he's taking like
you don't even see the TV ads like you used to.
Yeah, right. Because it's not considered because they said the risks of bruising and lack of clotting and bleeding out are more likely to happen than preventing the heart attack.
Yeah.
And that could be why Trump's hands look like they're little roughed up, bruised hands.
Looks like he's punching hookers.
Like they said, oh, it's because he shakes hands all the time, and that might actually be true. If he's taking that much aspirin, he may bruise just from shaking hands.
Yeah, especially if
he takes so much aspirin.
Especially if someone's doing it hard because they're like,
because he does
Trump's a hard handshaker. I got a hard handshake back.
Yeah, it's like while it sounded ridiculous, he actually may bruise like a tomato because he takes too much aspirin.
Yeah, I will say.
So
as far as speculating about the future. As far as speculating about the future of Trump's health, I will say that I'm going to take the same stance on that I take on any other form of consequence for Trump, which is I'll believe it when I see it. like it's been so many years of thinking like it's got to be any minute now, right?
So,
any minute now.
My friend Andrew Seidel, who's the author of the Founding Myth story about like debunking all the America's a Christian Nation book, and he's the author of what's his other book, American Crusade, about the weaponization of the Supreme Court. Andrew posted a video with a picture of himself 15 years ago when he started being an activist in atheism circles. And this is me 15 years ago. I've been an atheist a long time, but if a certain thing happens on Christmas, I will go to church. Comment below what church I should go to if a certain thing happens on Christmas.
Yep.
Fortunately, it did not happen.
So my concern with his health isn't he's not well. It's not really that.
Yeah.
What it is for me is that his method of leading. What?
He's too well. He needs to be sicker faster.
His method of leadership is so megalomatic that he will not concede to being unhealthy and is going to make possibly even worse, crazier, and harebrained decisions. And with the lack of checks and balances, someone is genuinely going to get hurt on his watch. And that's actually my bigger fear. So it was the same kind of thing that I fear with my dad. My dad was a diabetic. He did not take care of himself. He would have seizures while driving and kind of recklessly handle his health. And I would never necessarily be upset if he hurt himself, because I always thought, well, that's what you get. You're not paying attention to your health. But the other innocent people that are on the road with him was my real concern.
Yeah.
So I don't wish ill on our president, but I'm really concerned that he is so full of himself and so self-centered and narcissistic when it comes to how he leads, that he's not going to let anyone tell him he needs to take a fucking walk. He's just going to sit in his chair and have his legs rot
The old
off.
story of it. I want to die peacefully in my sleep, like my grandfather did, not screaming like all the people on his bus.
Yeah.
I like that.
I think, Alex, that when you talk about Trump conceding the point that I don't think that was an option in his. I think that there's an argument to be made that the sicker he gets, the less himself he is, the more likely he is to concede. Like when we're talking about hearing him talk about stuff like, am I going to heaven? It's like, oh, there might actually be something there. Whereas,
he sounds like he has concern.
Yeah. Where
he's trying to establish
Maduro into a safe place.
Legacy.
Do you know what a safe place is? Do you know what that is?
And if he gets enough, if he gets dementia or whatever enough, that there's actually a chance you know what I mean? If it gets worse enough, there's a chance that could change him enough. I think that's arguably the best chance we have at this point, because I think that the people around him are maybe not able to control it, but they are, like, as much as he was never a good president, he didn't have Pete Hegseth 5-6 years ago in his first term. He had somebody who was
Dan Bongino, Kash Patel.
Yeah. And so like you have
there's definitely only yes men and yes women around him now. There's nobody.
Right.
Well,
nobody at the top level. Maybe there are some people.
Is that no one's going to stop him?
But no one.
Yeah, but I don't think any of those ones are going to try. Whereas, 6-7 years ago when he was in his first term, we were cycling through cabinet members because they were actually not great people, but there was a line that could be crossed, and when he crossed it, they would quit, right? Or they would speak up, or they would defy him, and then they would get fired. And so we were seeing a revolving door. I don't know, I could be wrong on this, but I can't think of anybody who's been cycled through this term so far. And it's because you've got a bunch of incompetent people who are just like Hegseth is just like he's like a raging hard-on for violence. Like, it's very clear from everything that he's talked about and seen, he's just be a man and fuck shit up, and he's a frat boy, and I don't
no fat chicks.
Yeah, and don't
no fat generals. Yeah,
and I think that you don't have this is the craziest thing. It's like when we used to say we couldn't imagine, in the first Trump presidency, you couldn't imagine ever the good old days of George W. Bush being a thing. Now I can't imagine the good old days of Trump 1 because you had Bill Barr would stand up to him and get thrown out, and what's his face, Mike Pence would refuse to do the thing he asked for and save democracy.
They said that people would take his orders and walk out of the Oval Office and just not do it because he would forget what orders he gave. So they just didn't do it.
Right. And so now we have the president has no clothes. He's clearly not where he was.
Please don't say that.
Yeah. I watched a thing the other day where they were talking about how Trump had it was a debate with Michael Knowles, and I can't remember who the person was that he was debating. And Michael Knowles was making the argument that Trump is clearly so much more energetic than Biden was. Biden always seemed kind of sleepy, and they were like, Trump's falling asleep on camera in front of us all the fucking time. And it's literally the emperor, not literally, it's as close to the emperor's got no clothes as we've ever seen. Yeah, because they're like, look at this energetic man, and look at this guy who's very clearly
cognitive dissonance. Either they're
no, it's not. I don't think it's
Well, no, I mean, I think the cognitive dissonance, but I think they refuse to see it. Like, so I think that a lot of them just refuse to see, yeah, he falls asleep once or twice, but it was worse with Biden.
Yeah.
The same way that you see some of
Yeah.
those people like say, Biden was on vacation all the time. Trump never took vacation like that. And you're like, Trump took 4 times as many vacations. No, that's not true. And they can't believe that they're wrong because they already decided in their head that's the truth, and the facts cannot get in the way of what they believe.
My genuine concern is going to become that, like with most conservative desires and needs, is that until it starts to affect their ability to still be a paid politician, that is when finally they will make a change. So, despite I don't have to like what she's done or what she's probably going to do, our good old lady Crazy Marjorie has realized that MAGA and the movement is dying, so she went a different direction. It doesn't mean she's genuine.
Yeah.
It just means she has more life left in her working years. He does not. So I believe 2 things are going to end Trump's presidency will end with. He will take the country down burning and screaming rather than ever release that he was involved with Jeffrey the way he was, which at this point might actually be less damaging. And the other is that he will not, unlike Trump 1.0, he will barely take any guidance or criticism from anyone, because he already made it a hat. Trump got everything right. Trump was right about everything.
I think
he genuinely believes this so much in his core.
Well, I will say, I think he flips on issues really fast if people tell him a different story, because he likes to please people. But now he's not surrounded with anyone who will tell him a different story.
He A/B tests all the time.
Right. But the thing is, now there's nobody to tell him what you want to do is wrong. Before, they would tell him. They were just going, we should convince him not to do this because this is stupid. Like, he gave a stupid order. Let's not do it. We'll convince him it was stupid. Now nobody's
just not bring it back up, and he may not remember. Like, he might move on.
But now he's got all these yes men who are happy to, and who are, remember, every accusation is an admission, right?
Mm-hmm.
And his whole thing about the auto pen and about things being done with Biden not knowing it was him saying, that's how I do it. People just do what they want to do, and I sign off on it. Like, they've asked him, why did you pardon this person? He goes, I have no idea who that is. But you pardoned them. Good people told me I should pardon you. They got their check, and they told me to do it, so I did it.
Yeah.
So, that was his admission. No, I don't pay attention to half the things I do. So it's hard to know which thing. And that's why when he says things that are ridiculous and make no sense about policy, the few times he talks anything close to policy, it's because he's trying to repeat what he kind of half remembers that somebody told him when they said, sign this. He doesn't know what he's really talking about.
Yes.
Yeah.
So when you were asking earlier about
my mother would want me to say, when people say they are looking forward to the end of his presidency happening sooner rather than later for medical reasons, my mother gets furious because she's still old school, where the president is the president, and she's like, it is wrong to wish that on him. He should be like his father and live a nice long life of dementia and pain and degradation and decrepitness, and suffer for another decade. Don't 3-month crap. 10 years of suffering and being in pain and knowing that he's shitting himself.
I'm okay with that if he's not the president. I think that the people want that because it's a solution.
He needs to get sick enough that he has to step down.
Sure, and that's what I've been kind of saying.
Or be 25th Amendment.
Yeah.
In a real way.
But I think that there is no...
Okay, the 25th thing.
The 25th Amendment, I think, is our absolute farthest shot that we have.
No. I mean, but that's only if I think it's a bullshit thing when people say, we'll use it to save us, because that's not going to happen, because politically it wouldn't happen. But I mean, his health getting so bad that they have to do it legitimately for the reason it is meant to be done for his health, not being used as a we need to shut this guy up. Here's a way to do it. I don't think it's a one easy trick, but it's more of a, if he's not willing to just step down for his health, but his health is that bad, they just have, because remember when you do the 25th Amendment, you kind of the cabinet gets together, they send a thing to Congress saying we're kicking him out of office because 25th Amendment, and then all he has to do is send a letter back saying no, I'm fine, and then it undoes it. So he has to be at a state where he can't, like, where he's so sick that he can't send that letter for it to be legitimate. So like so I only mean,
and I
if
don't
that really
think we're
happens,
gonna have
he gets to that point where he is incoherent, but he's still president, and that's the way you have to take him out of office, because he's at a point where he can't even step down anymore because he's thinks he's
correct
talking
and
Elvis.
Yeah, I do think
right. And my healthcare working wife said the same thing. She said 25th ain't gonna do nothing, because just like with public healthcare here in this country, if the individual is medically sound enough to respond to people asking for care, there's nothing we can do to make, force, or require them to do anything more than call a wellness check, have the wellness check come up roses, and we move on with our lives like nothing's wrong, and Granny gets to drive again and hurt somebody.
Yeah.
So the
So I'm saying it has to be
legit for me.
So I'm saying it has to be legitimate, where he does need the 25th Amendment because he's not able to respond.
Yep. 100%. No, I agree with that, and that's scary, because I know as much of a megalomaniac as he is, he's never gonna cop to that.
Right. Now he would have to be the point where he literally
working out is boring.
Yeah, he literally has to be at the point where he is drooling into his jello, and he's not able to step down, and not able to say, "Don't make me step down."
Correct.
Yeah. Yeah. Although
totally true.
I will say this about I think as much as I hate Vance, I think that a Vance presidency is just so not as scary anymore, because I don't think he'll be as effective of a personality. And I also think that, like,
I was about to say, he is such a weakie.
Yeah. And so much of the worst of Vance that we're seeing right now is because he's trying to please Trump. And so if Trump all of a sudden was out of the picture, I don't even know that the worst of Vance is what we would get, assuming he was effective.
No.
Like, I think that there's a chance he tones a lot of shit down.
We may get the Vance who said that Trump is Hitler. Maybe the Vance that we get, and he may start going, I need to clear house and get rid of some of these people.
I was about to say,
people who can fix things, and be a hardcore conservative Republican, but not be MAGA anymore, and want to start fixing things.
And he still would be the youngest president at this point. He's got about a year and a half-ish left before he would no longer be the youngest president in history.
Also, if it happens this year, it will count as a first term. If God forbid he was reelected, as long if he serves more than 2 years, then it's a term. So you'd only get one more term. If Biden had stepped down in year 3 and let Harris be the president for the last year, she would have still had 2 terms ahead of her, because that wouldn't have been a term. But at this point, if it happens in 2026, Vance would be doing a term out of his 2 terms.
Oh, yes.
2 possible terms.
Okay, so now if this can happen before Christmas 2026, I'll go to church.
It has to happen on Christmas for it to be on Easter or Christmas for it to be
Venezuela.
If it happens, what if he has 8 heart attacks 8 nights in a row?
Yeah. And we go to
God is real and he's Jewish.
I was about to say, and we all go to synagogue with you.
Yeah. All right. Let's wrap up Venezuela real quick. I do need to kind of get going soon. I'll get to when we do the wrap up. I'll start, after we do the off subject wrap up. All right. So is there anything left to say about Venezuela?
So wrapping up Venezuela.
I kind of think, because we're still so early on, there is not as much to say about it yet. I think that it's really important to remember that, like, just by getting rid of a bad person doesn't make him a good person. Like, I think that's the important takeaway I want to focus on.
If the Joker shoots Lex Luthor, the Joker isn't a hero now, even though it's good that Lex Luthor isn't there anymore.
Right, exactly. So we can say, like, oh yeah, not having Maduro is good. Just similar. This is this is a wild thing that I'm about to say, but like similar to like when we said like Charlie Kirk made the world a worse place, but we didn't think that.
Oh my God, I literally was
him.
about to use that one too. Oh, shit.
Have you heard that young, like teenage or whatever gamers, when they're playing like Call of Duty and stuff
I
like
said
that?
that to you guys. Yeah.
That's what I heard. Never mind then.
Kirked. All right. So
he got kirked.
So I think that's it on Venezuela. Before we go, I want to say a few things. I'm going to be in a little bit of a chaotic situation, as you're going to be able to tell over the next few weeks. We came back from Massachusetts. We did a weekend in Massachusetts before Christmas, came back the day before Christmas Eve to find our house flooded and steamed. The hot water line broke in our dishwasher, and literally it was like walking in, like after you've run the shower and the bathroom's steamy, the whole house was like that. So we've been they've been moving us out this week. Literally this desk is like the last thing in this room that is like fully together.
Workers just picking it up while you're talking.
Yeah, I actually thought that would be hilarious to have them do. But so we're moving out so they could do renovations, and I don't know exactly what my setup is going to be. Like my light today is in my car because I didn't want them to take it. So so I don't have my light, so I'm just using the ceiling light. So things are gonna be a little crazy. And it's a wild time. It's hopefully going to be like a month or less, but it's construction, so you never know. One thing I will say is that
welcome to home ownership, by the way.
Huh?
Welcome to
ownership. No, I mean we've owned for 6 years, but yeah. I will say that if you got any extra Christmas money or Hanukkah money and we're wanting to do something nice, you could go to patreon.com/talking about the big stuff. And you'll find access to this show early. You'll find some of the extra stuff. There's probably going to be a fair amount of Matthew talking about our president's health that will be specifically for patrons on this episode.
Likely.
And so there's some good ways to help us out there. But Matthew, I'm going to let you go into your spiel first.
Hey, if you're watching a video clip from Alex and he has tagged this on the end, or you watch the full edited version of the video that you get when you're not a patron, go ahead and like the video. Go ahead and make comments on the video. Comment how many months you think it is before we all celebrate. And subscribe to the channel, ring the notification bell. So like Ricochet Rita, who's in the chat right now, you will know we're live when we go live. An hour and a half earlier than usual. Hey, Ricochet, nice to see you.
Yeah.
And other than that, go to patreon.com/talking about the big stuff and give us gifts of money so that Mike can survive.
Yeah. And Alex and I have another podcast that we started back in October. If you're not one to listen to politics all the time, we're talking about movies. It's called Cinemen. It's over on the Chocolate Diamond Media YouTube channel. It's a
great dynamic because Alex is a smart, sharp, observant person who talks about his feeling about watching the movie and what he went through and watching and what he thinks. And then Mike's like, well, actually, I have a film degree and blah, 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 blah. It's very nice.
Yeah. I'm not. You're cutting.
I'm going to comment on that dynamic because.
It likes to look like Mike. It looks like you muted him.
Yeah.
What he said.
So I was just editing the last episode of Cinemen, and I made some comment, some funny comment, and Alex goes, "We don't have Matthew, and you're gonna do a Matthew to me?" And I was like, "Matthew's not here. I get to be the funny one." So, yeah.
And then my response was, "Oh, that's what you bring to the table. Got it."
I'm excited to see how this records because I'm seeing you talk and then I'm hearing you seconds later.
I don't know if you have signal issues because you're also you were blurrier than JD Vance.
Yeah. All right. But yeah, go to patreon.com/talking about the big stuff, or you can go over to Chocolate Diamond Media to check out Cinemen. And as always, I've plugged it a lot for the last several months, but I also have a book. So check that out. I'll link everything in the show notes. Give us money, please. I have house repairs to make, and I have a 9.5-year-old to feed.
And I would like some beer.
And Matthew has a 22-year-old and a
23-year-old.
Oh, is she 23 now?
Yeah, she had a birthday back
See,
in October.
they're growing
They're
up so
aging
quick.
on us.
He has a 23 and a 26 or something year old. What is Joseph? 26, 27?
27. Right
Holy
now,
shit.
Jacob will be 30 next year in 27.
To say, I think Jacob
was born in 97, so he'll be 30 in 27.
Yeah.
Getting close.
But Jacob was already technically an adult when I met you, so like it's less.
They're only 14 months apart, Jacob and Joseph.
Yeah.
But Jacob was in college.
He was in his 30s,
yeah.
All right. Thank you all, and we will talk to you next time.
Yeah, thanks for hanging around talking about the big stuff. We appreciate being